swore I could do a lighter lip. I can never do a lighter lip. Feels so much better, okay. Hello new people on the intros, my name is Leilani, but you can just call me Lay, because apparently my name is hard to say. So, yeah. So, in my, well, not my last video, but my last video, I was doing a whole like glow up in 2 weeks thing for my birthday. And I believe in the video I actually mentioned something very specific to this video. I think I ended up sitting down and talking about this obsession I have with a certain animal, and I was talking about how badly I wanted it as a pet. A big part of the video I was like sitting down, writing everything that I needed to get and everything I needed to know before I could actually like go out and get this animal, because I thought that I was going to get it myself. But I'm lucky because I have parents that actually listen to me. Yeah, for my birthday, my parents actually got me a pet chameleon. And I've been wanting a pet chameleon forever, so I think that's why they got it. I think they just got tired of hearing me like begging for a pet chameleon. But yeah, so now I have a little pet chameleon. He's a, what is he, a juvenile? He's still like in one of those babies. Kind of like the toddler stage of a chameleon, basically. But yeah, he's super small and itty bitty and he's just so cute. I named him Pascal after obviously the chameleon from Tangled, because that is my absolute favorite movie, and I think part of the reason why I wanted a pet chameleon forever. So yeah, I actually bought a couple of things for his cage already, like a few plants or whatever. However, I do plan on getting him more plants, like live plants, just because I feel like he needs it. He really likes like hanging out in the plants, so I feel like giving him more plants, he'll probably be more happy to roam around. But you know, for right now, I'm still kind of collecting plants. So he has, how many? I'd say like 4 or 5 plants already that he really likes. He especially really likes this big one that I bought. I forget what it's called. It's not a pothos, but it's a plant for him that will not kill him to eat. No, but seriously, I'm like really excited. I'm so fucking happy that I got this chameleon because it's really pricey and I did not expect my parents to actually go out and like pay that much to get a veiled chameleon for me, along with like the setup and everything, but they did. So it makes me really happy. So I actually really want to show you obviously Pascal and Pascal's enclosure. We are also going to fix his enclosure a little bit. I don't know why they didn't add like a little drainage type thing into the actual enclosure itself. But there is no way for extra water to come out of the enclosure, because the thing is that I have to spray or mist inside his enclosure for 4 minutes in the morning, 4 minutes at night, and then every so often, depending on like if I have the AC on in the apartment or whatever, it probably dries out the enclosure, so I'm gonna have to spray every so often for like 2 minutes, midday. But for the most part, I just spray 4 minutes morning, 4 minutes night. But because of that, it collects a lot of water. And I ended up realizing yesterday actually that the water was starting to build up in the bottom of his enclosure. So we are trying to figure out how we can make a whole like drainage thing for him. Obviously, because I don't want him falling into the water, and I won't say it, but we're all thinking it. So yeah. No, but seriously, like we really need to figure something out. So that's basically what we're doing in this video. And can I just say right now, okay, if you are watching this and you're like, oh my god, I want a pet chameleon, do not take anything that I say to heart. This is technically my very first like reptile as a pet. I say technically because growing up we had turtles, but I was little and I wasn't the one who really took care of the turtles really. Most I would do is like feed them, and I'd help my dad clean up the tank. So this is my very first like full-on reptile that's mine. So you know, I'm kind of nervous and I hope I'm doing everything right. I don't know if I'm doing everything right. I mean, he seems really happy in his enclosure and everything. I can tell you right now, he probably won't be happy by the end of this video just because I have to take him out the enclosure and he still doesn't let me handle him yet. Yeah, it's gonna be a really long video. But seriously, like, do not take everything that I'm saying for what it is. I'm watching a lot of videos still. I'm still trying to understand. And I mean, if you have a chameleon and you're watching it and you're like, girl, everything's wrong, tell me, please, down below, okay? I just want to give him the best. But yeah, you've been warned. Don't come at me, okay? I'm still learning. But again, he does seem pretty happy so far in his enclosure. Actually, I was gonna record this video yesterday and start doing everything in his enclosure, whatever, but I couldn't because honestly, I don't know. No, but seriously, like, I really don't know what happened yesterday. He was in such a bad mood. I ended up coming into mist because I wanted to check on his humidity and everything. So I was like, okay, let me just check his humidity and let me start misting. It was like midday, it was kind of low. And then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, where is he? I want to make sure that he's not, like, you know, gonna get sprayed in the face. And the second that I look at him, he's all puffy, like he's very defensive. And yeah, I don't know what happened. I hadn't even opened the enclosure yet. I was literally just standing in front of it, like scanning that whole area. Yeah, he seemed like really freaked out, so I didn't want to mess with him yesterday. But he's a lot happier today. He's taken a couple of his worms and everything from me. So, you know, he's definitely a lot better. And he's literally hanging upside down right now on his stick. So, he's a lot better and we can do it today. As of right now, I have him on like a little schedule because I don't have like an automatic mister yet. That's the next big purchase that I'm gonna get for him. But yeah, I really want to get him like an automatic mister so that if I do go out, I can just set it on a timer and not have to worry too much about it. But as of right now, I just have like a little spray bottle. This is literally what I'm using, that you pump it and it's like, I'm not gonna spray it right now because I will spray my entire windowsill, but you get me. Like, I spray this whole thing and this goes out within like the day. Yeah, it's a lot of water, and this is also why I need the drainage system that we are gonna try and figure out. Thankfully, my dad really knows what he's talking about, so I could trust him a lot more than I could trust my own thoughts. But yeah, and as for the whole handling situation, okay, I'm trying to get him used to being handled. He's not necessarily against it, like he doesn't get aggressive or hiss or anything, but he's definitely like, I'll put my hand in there and I'll be like, just for a second, I'll put a worm on my hand and see if he'll even touch my hand. And he'll literally like go to touch my hand and he'll go and walk away. So he's not really the most affectionate or social, which I mean most chameleons probably aren't, but you know what I mean, okay? It is 3:30 right now and my dad's gonna come back from work in a few minutes, so hopefully he can start helping me, one, take out the extra water, two, obviously take out Pascal. That probably should have been number one. And he's gonna just help me kind of figure out the whole drainage situation. The original idea we had was maybe just putting a bucket on the bottom with a little like netting, obviously so he won't like fall through. And then whenever I need to clean, take out the bucket. My only thing is I don't really know how I would take the bucket out without taking out Pascal every single time. And like I said before, he's not really used to being handled. So I don't really know how it's gonna work. But we're gonna figure it out, okay? We'll figure it out. So I guess now all that we really need to do is, well, do it. So this is his whole enclosure right now, and as you can see at the bottom, all the water that I was talking about. Yeah, so we're gonna try and suction out all this water. He's up here right now. Look at my baby. Try not to move too crazy fast because it will freak him out. But yeah, he's just sitting and taking in the little lights that I have up here for him. And this is obviously his heat and his humidity. The top one is his humidity. I try to keep it between 30 and 40. So yeah, at night I try to raise it at least like 70 or higher. But yeah, and this little one here is his heat. So his heat is at 80, which I think should be good, or maybe it has to be lowered. I'm not too sure. He looks like he's getting freaked out, so let's move for a second. I have this little fogger for the nighttime. It doesn't get turned on until nights to fog up everything and keep the humidities really high for when he's sleeping, when I'm not awake to mist every 5 seconds. So now here's where everything kind of gets complicated and what I really want to change. These two, this double one you see here, that is a regular daylight, so obviously he gets some warmth during the day and doesn't get cold in there. This one, obviously it's not on right now, but on this side I actually have a whole night light. Not really a night light per se, more like a night heater, I guess. It doesn't give off any light. It's literally just to keep it hot. I know some people say that like chameleons don't really need that, just turn off the lights and they'll be fine. But the thing is, his enclosure is gonna stay in this corner. This corner is right next to my windows, and I live in Jersey, so it is really cold pretty much every other day. One day it's like hot, the next it's cold, the next it's like snowing, the next it's like summer again. So I really want to make sure that it stays nice and warm for him, and it's been working pretty good. Yeah, his heat doesn't get too high and nothing really drops crazy cold for him. So I'm going to keep it because it's working, and he normally sleeps right under it too. So yeah, this big light that's here, I really want to change. This is his UVB. It's basically supposed to represent like a sun, you know, for him to kind of bask under and take it in. It's really good for his skin or whatever. So this is technically wrong. I shouldn't really have a dome or whatever you want to call this. It shouldn't be like this little lamp type thing. It should be a linear bar, so it should be able to stretch from this side all the way over there. Now, I do not have the money right now to get a linear bar. Plus, this light is still relatively new. So I think by the time this light burns out, I'm gonna try and replace this with a linear bar of a UVB. And then I will keep these two, his nighttime heating light, and his daytime, so he can bask under it like he's doing right now. That is essentially the whole setup. It is a lot of cords, but I think so far it's really working, and he seems pretty happy every day except for yesterday, like I said. But for the most part, he hasn't really had any issues. I think I'm kind of lucky given the fact that he is a pretty chill chameleon. Basically, he's not feisty like some people have their chameleons. Again, I've never really had an issue. The other thing, I have 2 dogs. My dogs don't come over here, so he doesn't really see them too much unless they're on my bed. But even then, he doesn't really have an issue with them. There'll be times where he's hanging off like his stick, and I know he can like see them from where he is, but he doesn't really get freaked out by them. My dogs don't even realize that his enclosure is holding, you know, another live creature, so they don't really care. Where he is on top of my dresser, so I'm leaving his enclosure on my dresser for right now, and I think the dogs kind of realize like it's a dresser, there's nothing there, which isn't true, but as long as they believe that nothing's there, we can keep it that way. That's basically his whole setup. He has a glass enclosure, which I kind of want to change out eventually, but he's still little. I want to get him a bigger enclosure and also get him a hybrid, so it's like a glass and netted enclosure. But yeah, again, really expensive. He's really small, so he doesn't really need anything too basic, he doesn't really need anything too big and crazy. So for right now, he's good where he is, and again, he seems really happy. So I'm just gonna kind of leave it like this. Main thing right now is just the drainage, which we will figure out later, hopefully. So yeah, that's basically it for his enclosure. Again, I really want to get him more plants, but for right now, I think he's okay. You can see him up in his little corner, just taking in the lights. But yeah, that's essentially it. We are gonna try and fix the whole drainage thing in this video. Like I said, my dad is coming in a few minutes from work, so hopefully he will help me right away before like laying down or whatever. Hopefully. We're gonna start doing the whole thing with his enclosure in a few minutes. But until then, I want to feed him before anything. Now, he's supposed to be having crickets, but he ate all his crickets yesterday, and I don't have a car, so I couldn't go and get him more crickets. So we are just going to feed him some mealworms and waxworms. I really don't want to feed him the mealworms and the waxworms because they're more like treats for chameleons. They're not necessarily like what they should be eating. But again, I don't have the time to go and get him crickets, so we're gonna have to do with that until morning, unfortunately. Okay, so let's quickly do this. There he is. I washed my hands, of course, and I just put up my hair. So these are the waxworms, and these things are thick. I don't really know how he's gonna eat these, just because they're really big. Hold on, let me see if I can show you. It's not that they're big, it's just they're really thick, and I don't really know how that's gonna go. He's never had waxworms before, so we're gonna definitely try that. I bought these for him, and hopefully he enjoys it. But these are his jam right here, which I need to buy him some more. This is 100 count mealworms, and yeah, he's been having these non-stop. I'm trying to get him, hold on, I can't freaking open this. Okay, here we are. I'm trying to get him used to being handled. So I found someone say online that if you slowly just kind of introduce him to get onto your hand with worms. Oh my god. I thought I was gonna lose that in my room. I was gonna cry. What was I saying? Oh, but yeah, if you get him used to your hand being in the enclosure by using worms or whatever, it will kind of help him get used to being close to your hand, and at some point you can hold him. So that's what we're trying. Okay. There he goes. Oh my god, please be careful, Pascal. Here he comes. So he gets very eager. There you go. Now, okay, he's just on the move now. I don't know what happened. I put this out and he just kind of scurried away. Okay, so I gave him like 8 of the freaking mealworms. Now I want to try and give him one of these waxworms. Again, I don't really know how this is gonna go, just because he hasn't had waxworms, so we're gonna try. Oh my god, these things are so squishy. We're just gonna give him one for right now and see how that goes for him. There you go. There you go.
Looking at me like, what is he doing? He's looking at me.
So I got the paper towels, obviously, to clean all of this. This, I think it's a wet vac. Wet vac is gonna clean up the rest of this dirt. We're gonna take all the dirt out, which is easier. And I also have a towel behind me to put all his things there. Yeah, I'm gonna try and stay like down here. I don't know, I think maybe it'll keep him from freaking out. I feel like if I was standing, he'll probably freak out, so let's try it. The issue I'm having now is the fact that he's on the cord for this, and I'm trying to work around it, and it's actually a lot more difficult than I thought it would be. Now is just putting the platform in, which I don't think he's gonna let me do right now, because he's still on that cord. So I'm gonna wait till my dad is finished. I'm just gonna put his plants back in here and then leave him be.
And then I'm gonna put the screw.
I got Dookie on the floor. What the hell? And with all that, we are at the end of the video. I realized that I didn't really have too much going on in this video, but it was just kind of to show off my new pet because I was really excited about it and I needed to tell somebody. And I don't have too many people in my life to tell, so here we go. So we actually ended up going, I didn't record while I was in there just because anxiety, but we ended up actually going to this place that it was specifically for reptiles. Not like PetSmart where they just kind of have everything and anything and everything. Wow. And honestly, I really liked it better there than going to PetSmart just because obviously like they know what they're talking about. It's all about reptiles. They had some gorgeous panther chameleons. I wish we would have taken a picture of them. They were like bright blue and red and oh, they're gorgeous. But yeah, they knew a lot more than like if you were to go to PetSmart or whatever. PetSmart, I guess, is good for like quick, like simple things. But yeah, I was telling him about Pascal and everything, asking him questions about the enclosure and the plants and all that, and he left us with a lot of realizations. Like, first off, he made me realize I really needed to get him a mister, which I think I said in the beginning of the video. I plan on getting him a mister, but he actually showed me the mister that they use in the actual place. And it's like this huge tank, and he said that he probably fills it up like once a week, that it lasts really long. And it sprays, you can adjust it for the time, you can adjust it for how much you want it to spray during what time. So yeah, he was telling us about that. Unfortunately, he said that he didn't sell those anymore there, but he did say that he knows where in New York that we can go to get it. So that's probably where we're gonna go for that at some point. But yeah, everything else, like, he also showed me a whole bunch of different insects that I can feed him, which is a lot better because at PetSmart, they only had, at least at the PetSmart near me, they really only had crickets, small crickets and large crickets, and they only had mealworms and waxworms. Everything else was kind of like, you know, super big, and like I can't feed him that yet because he's still really tiny. But yeah, so he actually showed us a couple different things. They had like they had these bright blue worms called hornworms. That was kind of wild. They were literally probably like this long and like mad thick. They're like that thick. It was crazy. So I definitely want to get that for him once he's bigger, because obviously he can't have that right now. But yeah, he actually showed us, we were kind of talking to him about the insects that he needs to eat. And he was actually explaining to us that crickets don't really hold a lot of like nutrients for him. They're really just to keep him full, which is great once he's like bigger, that he doesn't really need to like get bigger. He doesn't really need like the food to help him grow any bigger, that you want to keep him at like a steady weight. But like for right now, since he's so tiny, he suggested to get him some dubia roaches. And I actually got that for him recently, and that's what I've been feeding him for the past 2 days when I went, and he loves them. I bought 30, and I just put them in a container during the day, and I sit them in there, and it's only been 2 days, and he already is getting low on them. He also showed us these worms called butterworms, another thing that's going to help fatten him up a little bit and help him get a lot bigger. So we got some of those. He's obsessed with them. The guy that was helping us said only 2 a week though, so unfortunately he already had his 2. But yeah, he absolutely loves them. I gave him one just like, you know, just to see if he wanted it. I put it on the little tray and gave it to him. He had it, and then he came running down from his freaking branch, and he was sitting in front of me waiting for another, so I had to give him one. I felt bad. But yeah, so we found that place, and we also found that place has a lot better cages, like enclosures for chameleons than PetSmart does. Yeah, he was explaining to us that it was a lot better to get him a netted enclosure than a glass enclosure like I have here that was bought at PetSmart, because he said that they can overheat in that one, in this one. Well, he also had them in a lot of different sizes, and they had like drainage systems in it, so I didn't really have to do all of this in the next one. My plan is to get him a new enclosure by January. I know that that's kind of like late given the fact that I've already had him for probably a month in here, but I need to save money, and I can only walk so many dogs at a time, so you know. Once I've done enough dog walking and I got enough money, I'm gonna splurge on him. But yeah, this was just a little video to gloat about my new baby. But seriously, I'll probably make another video at some point when I do get a bigger netted enclosure for him, and I get the mister and new bugs, and I set up the whole enclosure, and I get better lights because these lights just have got to go. So yeah, eventually it's gonna be a lot better, and I'm gonna make a whole video fixing up his enclosure. But for right now, he seems okay. He seems really happy. I just know he'll be even happier with a lot more space and a lot more ventilation. Yeah. But yeah, that was meeting my pet chameleon, Pascal. And again, this is just the first video. I'm sure I'm gonna make a lot more videos with him, especially right now since I'm trying to get him used to being handled. I thought we almost had a moment where he trusted me enough to hold him. He just wanted to work though. So he literally put his hand out like he wanted to get on my hand, and then he just hovered over my finger and got his worm. So I thought that was a moment right there, but it wasn't, so we're still working on it. But yeah, so besides that, if you do want to kind of keep up with me and Pascal and just see what's happening, I mean, I'm not gonna be posting like crazy amounts. This channel is not gonna become just about Pascal, but you know, I will keep updates, especially during like vlogs and stuff. I'll make little updates about him, and once I get the bigger enclosure, make a video about doing that and setting that up. So yeah, you can stay tuned for that. I believe that this is the end of the video, so I'm going to leave you with this. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you didn't, I mean, give it a thumbs down. That's the point of those buttons down there. So yeah, my next video I plan on making a whole drawing video, and I think the one after that is also going to be a drawing video. Depends on what I feel like doing next week. But yeah, so you can stay tuned for that. And I mean, I don't know, if you like me and you want to see more of this decent looking face, you can follow me on here. You can also follow my socials. They're all Lotus Lay on Instagram and on TikTok. And if you want to follow my personal is 0_LAILANNI_0. Yeah, I feel like I've been talking for a really long time. So once again, my name is Leilani, but you can just call me Lay, and I'm hitting the record button now. Nice. I got these nails at K-Town. I just have to, can we just appreciate them a little bit? Just look at those, they're so gorgeous. So, press-ons in K-Town, so adorable. Absolutely love it.